What's up, Fantasy A-Team Nation? I'm your host, Josh Jenkins, and tonight's video, we are going to unveil our Week 6 top wide receiver matchups. But before I start the show, I'd like to welcome my co-host, Zach Roberts, back to the show. Welcome back, Zach.
Hey, thanks for having me, Josh. Appreciate it. What's up, A-Team Fantasy Nation? How's everybody doing? Thanks for coming back, watching these videos. So, again, welcome back. Let's jump into it, man. I want to name Adams, Hill, Diggs, Hopkins, Metcalf right off the bat. All those guys, if they're not injured or on a bye week, start them. So, with that said, man, I want to start off with number 1, Deontay Johnson versus Seattle, 27 versus the pass. I love this matchup. He did only have 2 catches last week, but he caught both of them for 72 yards and a touchdown. I look for him to have more targets this week, which means he'll probably have more yardage probably also. He's in an offense that I think is, where he's starting to get going, and Big Ben's going to start slinging the ball a lot more, I think. So I think he'll have 75 yards plus and probably at least 1 touchdown, maybe more.
Yeah, I agree. He is a big part of that offense between him and Chase Claypool.
Yes. I believe Claypool could easily be, right there with him, but we have him a little bit further down the list. But either one of those guys would be great. Their offense is heating up, I think. Najee Harris is starting to establish the guys come down in the box, opens up for Johnson and Claypool. They got a good squad, so I look for them to start to have a little bit better numbers too.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so number 2, we got Brandon Cooks. Indy this week, 25th versus the pass. I like this matchup. He was 3 for 5 for 23 yards and 0 touchdowns last week, so he had kind of a down week. What's his name? The Mills guy is their quarterback, right? What's his first name?
Yeah, Davis Mills.
Davis. So Davis Mills there, he's kind of baptism through fire like Troy Heineke or whatever the guy for Washington. So both those guys have started to prove after a week or two that it's Taylor Heineke, sorry. Both those guys after a couple of weeks have shown that they can put up some numbers. That's why they're at the backup role, that when needed, they're ready to run the offense. So I look for Cooks to actually have another big game. He's had a couple big games before this week, before last week. So I think this week he's going to get back to what he was doing before. So he'll have a bounce back game. The rest of the offense is heating up. I believe he was doubled a lot last week. Is kind of why he had a down week, which allowed the other guys in the offense to flourish. They had a really good game last week. Look for him to have more like a wide receiver 2 or 3 numbers this week, 75 yards plus, and probably gets a touchdown. Maybe sneaks a second one in. We'll see.
Yeah, I agree. I look for him to break out again this week. This quarterback, Davis Mills, he's getting more comfortable in that offense. Although, from what I've read, it may be short-lived. I think Tyrod Taylor will probably be back in the next couple of weeks. But just as he's getting comfortable. So, yeah, I expect to see a big game from Cooks.
Well, he proved himself this last week, and he will probably for the weeks to come, so that he may not just be a backup at the end of the season. He may get moved to another team to get a chance to start. He showed that he could play. So same thing with that Taylor guy. So both those guys have proven that in a given situation, they can, under the pressure perform. So, which is a huge deal in the NFL. So a lot of these, some of these guys that are backups never get a chance, or when they do, they don't perform up to or better than what they want. So for what he's doing, it's really, a great thing, and it's really good for us in the fantasy world. So you got to take advantage of those type of gems when you find them, even if they're short-lived, So let's go number 3, Tyler Lockett. He's first in Pittsburgh this week. They're 30th versus the pass. So, we called out Deontay Johnson and Claypool, so we think that this is going to be an offensive passing game. I think that between Pittsburgh and Seattle, they're going to be passing the ball a lot. I know that Pittsburgh's got Najee Harris, so they are going to run the ball. But I believe that Seattle's going to throw the ball a lot, which may dictate Pittsburgh to want to try to play from behind or keep the lead. So I think he will have a lot more targets again than he had last week. He was 5 for 10, or I think he'll have more catches than he had. He only caught 5 of his 10 for 57 yards, but he didn't have a touchdown. I believe this week he'll have more yards. He'll probably have caught more. Let's say he gets 10 targets. He'll probably catch more like 7 or 8 this week. I think he was double team, I'm pretty sure, last week. DK actually had a game. I watched part of that game but fell asleep. He'll have more catches and have higher yards this week. I look for him to have 75 plus yards and at least 1 touchdown. He could, it's Tyler Lockett. He could even have over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, but look for him to get the ball. DK had a good week last week, and I guarantee the defense will be trying to double team so you don't have a repeat performance. So,
yeah, this matchup is intriguing to me again. With Geno Smith taking over the offense after Russell Wilson's injury Sunday, I'm anxious to see if he does sling the ball downfield like Russell Wilson did and hit Tyler Lockett with some deep bombs, or will he have to, actually run a route through the middle of the field, catch shorter passes? But I look for him to have another good game.
I look for him to do a little bit of both of what you just said. So I think they're going to mix it up, like you said, with the backup quarterback in there, Geno Smith. He's no newcomer, though. He's been around the league and stuff. So he was a top pick when he was picked. So he can run an offense when needed to. So next I got DeVonta. Or do you have anything else to add to that?
No, that's good with me.
Yeah. Okay, next I got DeVonta Smith for Philly going against Tampa Bay, 31st versus the pass. I love this matchup. He was 7 of 8 last week for 77 yards, but he didn't get in the end zone. He had 1 red zone target and 1 goal to go target. He's heating up and building chemistry with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts starting to realize he can rely on the guy to get the open spot. He's starting to be able to read the defenses a little bit now. Look for him to have more of the same numbers this week, but I think he gets the touchdown. Heck, he could even have 2. He could even have over 100 yards. He's one of those guys. He's like JaMarr Chase, people. Don't sleep on DeVonta Smith. He's like JaMarr Chase. He could easily put up, 5 catches for 140 yards and 2 touchdowns. So,
yeah, I agree. With Tampa Bay's secondary being weak, they get exposed a lot. I do look for Smith to slide in there and take advantage, and Hurts be able to connect with him. I look for him to have at least 1 touchdown, probably somewhere. He may be approaching 100 yards. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, you're right. I agree. And so with that said, man, let's move on down what I got for number 5. I guess these last, we have a couple of honorable mentions, but Claypool, we wanted to put him on here along with Deontay Johnson, like we said. Seattle's 27 versus the pass. I love this matchup. He was 5 for 6 for 130 yards and a touchdown. So they were, they were double teaming a little bit on Deontay Johnson. He only had the 2 catches, so they had him covered really well, which opened it up for Claypool. And it could easily be vice versa this week. So I look for him to have another great game. He may only get 100 yards or like 75 yards, Claypool, but I believe he gets another touchdown this week. He's a big target in the red zone, so he demands the ball. Yeah,
I'm anxious to see which one actually draws the double team this week. Will it be Claypool? Will it be Johnson? One or the other is going to capitalize and have a big game. So
that's what a lot of these offenses are having come up now, is you either got the tight end, or at least, the tight end and a wide receiver, 2 wide receivers that are starting to make the defense have to choose what they're going to do, which opens it up. If you have quality players in the other positions, that could open it up for the rest of the team on the field. So that's how these high-powered offenses work, and you're starting to see a lot of these other teams at least try to mimic it the best that they can. So yeah, you got the next 3, right?
Yeah, which one did you have in mind?
Honorable mentions. So I'll name them off real fast. You got their numbers. Marvin Jones, JaMarr Chase, and Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah, let's start with Emmanuel Sanders. Last week, he was 3 of 5 for 54 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 red zone targets. So they were trying to get him the ball. This week he goes up against Tennessee Titans. They're ranked 32nd. I look for Emmanuel Sanders to have a big game this week.
I agree. I think he will have a big game. Josh Allen's got a big arm. He showed last week that he could be reliable for Allen, so they definitely have some chemistry there. I definitely think he'll have, probably another 70-plus yard game, probably a touchdown, maybe two. I love this matchup because Emmanuel Sanders has definitely got the ability to get. He's a veteran, knows how to where to run the route and get open on the field. So I believe Allen will be finding him continually for the rest of the season. I think he's a guy that we had him on the waiver wire. Another guy you want to pick up and have. So for these bye weeks and for weeks ahead, he's gonna have good matchups because Allen's offense and the Bills are high powered.
All right, let's jump to my next one. JaMarr Chase. Last week he was 6 of 10 for $159 and 1 touchdown. This week he goes up against Detroit, the number 10 ranked defense, against the receiver. I think Detroit is bottom in the NFL. I look for Chase to have possibly even a bigger game than this. I wouldn't be surprised if he don't have multiple touchdowns. May not have more than 159 yards, but I'd look for him to have more than 1 touchdown.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I think, after what he's been doing, defenses aren't going to be surprised that he can get behind him. So in that case, I believe that he will still probably get more targets and have like close to 100 or more yards and like a touchdown, like you're saying. But he could easily go off and have 150 yards receiving. So at any time, him and Burrow, man, they have a good connection already. So that offense is heating up also. So they're not going to get beat every week, and they're always going to be in the game. They're one of those teams now. So I know it's kind of weird because the Bengals haven't been that great or whatever, but they have a good offense now. So these guys, you want to make sure you have them, you play them. We like this matchup.
Next, Marvin Jones. I know last week's game wasn't, too impressive, but they are going up against Miami, 28th against the pass. Last week, he was 1 of 5 for 25 yards. He didn't have a touchdown, but he had 2 red zone targets. I look for Trevor Lawrence to hook up with Jones a little bit better this week against Miami.
I agree with your assessment. I mean, Marvin Jones is a veteran. He knows how to, like I said about Emmanuel Sanders, he knows how to run the routes and get open. He's actually probably helping Trevor Lawrence read the defenses when they walk up to the line for the offense, for the passing part of it, because he's been in the league for so long. And so I believe that Marvin Jones and him will they already have a decent chemistry. They'll continue it. And I think this week, like you were saying, he could easily get 50, 75 yards, a touchdown. So he could be played this week if you have someone who's out, or, you have to play him at the flex position or something if you have another running back that's out or hurt. But, man, he's going to put up solid numbers. He's not going to win the game, but he's not going to lose the game for you. So,
guys, there you have it. There is our Week 6 top wide receiver matchups. If you need somebody and you can get these guys, go grab them, throw them in your lineup, and hopefully they will help you win your matchup this week. As always, if you have any comments, drop them down below. Visit us on Twitter, Fantasy A Team 1. We'll get back to you as quickly as possible. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, hit that subscribe button, and remember, friends, don't let friends auto draft.